Hi, we're back. It's Julie and Katrina. Julie's the disembodied voice. So now Katrina's going to play with her eyeshadow.
Because I got 2 new eyeshadow palettes.
Yeah, so I think this is the first time you've used them?
Yeah, but I mean the brand's really nice.
Okay, cool.
It's Juvia's place if anyone's curious.
All right. Juvia.
Yeah, I don't think
Not
it says
Julia.
No.
Juvia.
Yeah, I follow them on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I used to use a primer, but the formula didn't really work for my eyelids. I have kind of oily eyelids, and then because they're super hooded, like you can't see most of my eyelid when my eyes are just open. Eyeshadow tends to smudge around a lot for me, and the primer I used to use didn't work, but this one works. It's expensive. I got it as a samp-free thing through Sephora when I was ordering other things.
Okay.
I used my beauty points. But it works really well, and when I decide to use my fancy makeup, I use their foundation as well. It's NARS, if anyone, I don't know if you can read that.
Yep.
Their letters kind of overlap a lot in their logo. But I usually start with putting that.
So do you always put primer on, eyeshadow primer on?
I mean, now I do. It just makes it stay better. Like, if eyeshadow stays on without it for you, I wouldn't bother buying it. But it would be like, okay, I went to school and I did like one class, and now I just have a bunch of eyeshadow in the creases of my eye.
Okay. I see.
And that, as someone who spends a lot of time on their makeup, made me mad.
Right. So you're just kind of putting a little dab on and then spreading it around with your finger.
Yeah, blending it in. Eyeshadow primer is also supposed to help the pigment show better.
Okay. And are there different colors? Or...
Yeah. I don't know if this brand makes different colors, but like you can get, like the one I used to have was white, but it had like sparkle in it. I don't know why they did that. It's a primer. It probably shouldn't be sparkly, but in 8th grade I thought that was really cool. So
of course.
where did I put that brush? I did that. Oh, there it is.
Okay. So you have multiple brushes here that you're going to use, I'm guessing.
I have my lovely kit of mishmashed brushes that I have accumulated. Most of them are from the ones you got from the spa show.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. I thank you when you got them for me. Yeah, so this is like my biggest, I don't know technically what it's called, eyeshadow brush. This is the biggest one. This is the one I usually use to put the base color.
All right.
Which, I don't know which color I'm gonna, I guess we're gonna just go really orange for fun. So I'm gonna pick this really, really orange color.
That is really orange.
Orange tends to look good on my eyes because they're blue. And
okay, because complementary
blue
colors.
and orange are complementary colors. There's a bunch of charts and stuff online that you can look up for what looks good with your eye color. I think browns are supposed to work really well with like greens and purples as well.
Uh-huh.
And again, I kind of follow those rules, but I also just kind of do whatever I feel like it.
I think it's important. It's creative expression.
Sometimes I match it to my hair. Sometimes I match it to my outfit, which usually just means a lot of black. Sometimes I just throw on pink and yellow because why not?
Why not, indeed.
Like, I have the colors, so.
Right.
I don't think I own a single eyeshadow at this point that I have not used. And I do have blues, yellows, and greens.
There you go. So freedom to play.
And one whole palette that's purple and pink.
So you're just basically covering the whole lid there with that bigger brush.
Yeah. This is the color that will be my baseline that I'll blend. I tend to do darker outer corner, lighter inner corner.
Okay.
And then a base color in the middle. And then sometimes by the time I'm done playing, you can't see the base color anymore. It just kind of depends how long I decide I'm going to keep playing for.
All right.
Which is why in the last video I said I allocate at least an hour when I do my makeup.
Right, and I said I allocate 5 minutes. But I generally, most days, am not wearing eyeshadow and all that. I've never worn eyeshadow primer, I have to say. So that's interesting. But what I should add, though, is that I do allocate a lot of time for my skincare routine during the day. So I'm not adding a lot of makeup, but I am making sure I'm looking after my skin because
I'm getting better at that.
Healthy skin is the best makeup. Would you not agree, Katrina Humphries?
It depends what you want to do makeup for. I think it's the best way to have natural, look like you naturally have makeup on without.
That's what I'm going for.
Because, for me, when I wear makeup, I'm like, if you can't see my eyes from 10 miles away, they're not extreme enough.
Okay. So we're just at different ends of the spectrum, and that's okay.
See, this is because I'm in an arts program.
You're in an arts program, and you're also much younger.
If I'm not doing this when I'm a grandma, I didn't live my life right.
I used to do more makeup when I was younger, before I had children and my own business. And
Kids.
No, kids are wonderful. It just changes your priorities. That's
the
all.
life, Eddie.
That's all. Like I said, I used to spend less time on my skincare. Now I spend more time on my skincare.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put something in the crease, and I usually use this rounded fluffy guy.
Okay.
For more of the packing, and then I have a bigger one for more blending out.
Okay. So yeah, after this, if anyone wants me to pick up brushes for them when I go to the spa show, whenever that is, let me know. It was supposed to be in April, but of course it was postponed. So we'll see when it happens, but I suspect it won't be till next April now.
Charger, you're hitting the table.
But I'm always looking for ideas of what people want from the spa show. So maybe it'll be brushes and eye primer and eyeshadows after all this.
My eyeliner, wherever I put that. Oh, it's holding up the tripod. Well, that's going to be an issue later. My eyeliner that I use, my favorite gel liner, you got me from the spa show.
Oh, well, there you go.
Because I no longer like pencil eyeliner. I think it's difficult to work with. And it breaks too much. Maybe I just use too heavy of a hand, but I think it breaks too much.
Okay. So you've chosen a darker color here that you're kind of outlining what you already did.
Yeah, you kind of put it in where your eye folds, so the crease of your eye, and then I usually bring it down into the lash line a little bit. I think those are technically foundation steps for a smoky eye, but again, I kind of just do what I want. So don't take that as the gospel truth.
Well, like I said, people have different eye shapes and stuff
that
too.
So how most people tell you to wing your eyeliner doesn't work for me because my eyes are too hooded. If I do it that way, then it looks like it's gonna curl back up into my eyebrow. And then because of when I smile, my cheeks crunch, then I end up with a double wing.
That's what happens to me.
Yeah.
So I just don't bother.
Part of what can help with this that my friend taught me is if you, after you do your eyeliner, you line under it with either your foundation or your cover up, and then pack on your setting powder. On top of that, it helps it not smudge as much. I also sometimes will put a bit of black eyeshadow on top of, because my eyeliner is 9.5 times out of 10 is going to be black. So I put black eyeshadow on it. And then sometimes you just got to take your selfies real quick before it gets wrecked.
The all-important selfies. Maybe that's the other difference between you and I.
I do
not
put makeup
really
on
selfies.
Specifically to take. I put makeup on 3 or 4 times this quarantine just to take pictures, and then just sat at home and was like, "Well, I look pretty now."
It's important to feel good about yourself.
Like, I'm just gonna look cute and watch Netflix.
But also, you're in a program where photography and videography and arts and all that are part of your program, so you know.
Okay, so now I'm gonna blend up into my eyebrow, which is when I'm gonna pick this lighter shade that's more similar to my skin tone.
So you've just done the 3 in a row then?
Yeah, the orange ones so
Okay.
far. We'll see where this goes. I got another palette sitting there waiting, so.
You started with the medium, then you went to the dark, now you're going to the light, and all with different brushes. And you've got a bigger, fluffier brush this time.
Because it won't pack it on as... the fluffier the brush, it's not going to pack the pigment on as tight.
Okay, because we want a lighter touch with this one.
Do you want to soften the harsh line?
Okay.
And like, some people might find this weird, but I usually extend whatever color this is right down into the outer corner of underneath my eye.
Mm-hmm.
Just for continuity, because I think it, on my eye, it looks awkward if it just cuts there.
Okay.
But you gotta kind of figure out what works best for your eye shape. And then always tap the excess off. I mean, I don't always do that with the darker colors because I want as much on as possible, but when I'm trying to make sure the color is light, I definitely make sure I tap off the excess.
Because otherwise you get kind of a blob.
Yeah. And I mean, I should do it with the dark colors because otherwise you can end up with fallout, which is annoying to get rid of under your eye, but
right.
I sometimes just forget.
Okay.
And I'm sure people have noticed, but I make a bunch of weird faces when I'm trying to manipulate my eyelid the way I want it to sit.
That's okay. It's like,
Although I'm not one of those people that needs to go, like, to put their mascara on.
Oh, that's me.
I just kind of sit there and go. Make my eye look real big. But I do need to do it.
That's okay. Normally, people aren't watching you do your makeup, so you can make whatever face you want. And it's good, you know, to exercise the muscles of your face. So, I mean,
like, this alone for most people would be like, okay, like, that's a lot. I'm not done yet.
Oh, I thought you were done.
No.
So you've taken a different palette now.
So this one, because it has sparkly colors.
Oh, okay.
And I want this one. And maybe this one, but mostly this one for now. I haven't even touched underneath my eye really yet. So this one I'm going to put on the inner corner. Because brightening up the inner corner also helps to make your eyes look more awake. And I think bigger. But don't quote me on that one. Okay. I'm definitely awake.
So those of us who are tired can just put some light sparkles on the inside of our eye and suddenly we'll look energetic.
I mean, if you just put sparkles on the inside, I would maybe go for a white eyeshadow without sparkles, but...
Okay.
I mean, in high school, I used to just line with a thick white eyeliner, like all the way around the bottom of my eye.
I remember that.
I thought that was quite the look. It was interesting.
It was interesting. I mean, you never looked bad, I have to say. You always looked pretty.
Oh, yeah, and now I'm using a smaller brush because it's harder to get in there.
Right.
And I don't necessarily always use this one. This just happens to be the one that I picked up.
Okay. And you're just literally, I have to put my glasses on so I can see. You're just literally putting it in the corner.
And then kind of blend it out.
Oh, right, towards the center, I see. Okay. Yep, close your eye so we can see. Very good.
The other one yet.
I should have went up closer, but... That'll do.
I didn't close my eyes to do that, but...
Oh, so this is the 4th color now.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, you were gonna say something. Did you lose it?
Say something, but I don't remember what it was. It'll come to me in a few minutes.
I'm sure. Mm-hmm.
Oh, the reason I've been doing some of this with my eye open is to make sure there's not a weird gap at the lash line.
Okay, but you're not worried about getting... eyeshadow in your eye?
I mean, I'm very comfortable with things right close to my eye, so other people might be bothered by it, but like, I mean, I've had eyelashes that turn around and poke me in the eye. I have no issue going in with a pair of tweezers and removing that, so. I also used to wear contacts, so.
Right.
And actually the eye doctor was like, wow, you have no problem touching your eye. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've had to pull eyelashes out. Sometimes you accidentally, the worst feeling is when you get your mascara brush accidentally scrapes your eye. That's not fun.
Oh, I have never had that one.
That happens usually when I sneeze when I'm trying to do my mascara specifically. But
Okay.
yeah, not fun. Okay. We're not done yet.
Really?
It keeps going because the fun don't stop. Because I haven't done anything I like to do under my eye with lots of fun colors. I'm also not sure if I'm done with the top eyelid either. Well, that remains to be seen depending on what I decide to put on under my eye and therefore what needs to be balanced on top of my eye.
Okay.
Just, I don't know if you could see it, but I've just cleaned the brush I used for my eyebrows in the last video.
Okay, yep.
And then I've like pinched it to like as tight together as the bristles can get. And then I'm going to take the same shade I just put on the inner corner for a little bit of continuity. I'll bring it down underneath.
All the way?
I usually go part way. I'm going to blend in more colors.
Okay.
So if you were only doing one all the way, but I'm a little bit extra, so there'll be more.
Okay. And I suppose we should, just in case anybody's wondering about your funky hair color, you did have it kind of a teal green, was it? No,
This was
that was a few times
neon
ago.
green.
Okay, this one was neon green. It was very pretty, and then COVID happened, and
Now I have intense roots.
now you're going back to your more natural color.
Well, potentially. Remains undecided. It depends what I can convince you to put in my hair.
Say, and Mom just gave you a hair trim.
That's true. I went to, what did you call it? Salon de Juliette.
Yes.
Which Amy pointed out, Juliette's not her name.
Yeah, but, you know,
I said she wanted it to sound French.
Yeah,
so.
you know.
And now, because I'm changing shades, I, you know, not necessarily professionally cleaned it, but I just kind of took a makeup wipe that I had and just
Okay, all right.
pulled the pigment off because...
Also, it was a light color, so
yeah,
it wouldn't be that difficult.
Which, although, honestly, usually I work from dark to light on the bottom. I don't know why I'm going from light to dark today. That's just how it ended up.
Okay.
Oh. Now I've taken this middle shimmer shade, and I'm going to put that kind of in the middle of the under corner of my eye. Sometimes I get like 5 shades under my eye. We'll see where this goes.
Oh my heavens. No wonder you allocate an hour for makeup.
Also, if someone's like late coming to meet up, the more time you give me, the more stuff's going on my eye. Which, you know, in theory, you should know when to stop, but...
Maybe you don't.
I like to play a little too much, and so if it gets bad, I just keep playing until it gets good again.
Okay.
Which, when eyeliner comes into play, is difficult.
So now you've extended that color all the way across.
Yeah. I'm just trying to give the colors the best opportunity to blend into each other without having to dip back and forth constantly.
Yeah, because that would be a real pain.
Isn't this supposed to be a no judgment zone?
Yes, it is. It's a judgment-free zone. That's right.
Oh yeah, and you can probably tell that I kind of squint my eyes so that the wrinkle doesn't hide part of my... Because I found I didn't used to do that, but then I would just end up smudging lower anyways. So now I just draw it on intentionally lower to start, and it's like, I did that on purpose.
All right. Are you done yet?
With that color, yes. So now we go to the third and maybe final color. Typically I do 3 under the eye. Sometimes it turns into more, and I'll put this one on the outer corner underneath it. And I've stuck with mostly copper and gold tones because to go with the oranges, because color theory, they just will blend together better. If I were to say throw a blue in, I would have had to have planned that out earlier, because orange and blue will cancel each other out,
right?
Because they're complementary and make
make mud,
a muddy disaster.
Got it. So basically you're doing the same thing on the bottom that you did on the top, where you have lighter on the inner.
Yes, but
on the middle and darker on the
I
outer.
like doing sparkly colors underneath my eye.
Okay. Cool.
And like, as I'm looking at it now, I don't think it's dark enough on the outer corner, so I'll probably go in with a bit of a matte color and darken it. Because I think there's a bit too much of a difference between the lightness here versus the darkness here. So then probably just pull back from the first palette this brown, because the other ones in the other palette, one's too orange and the other's too dark. But I think this one will match with that one that's on the outer corner up top nicely.
Okay.
Oh, and one thing that I didn't do that I usually do, and I don't know why I didn't do it, is spray my brushes with like a setting powder, which helps the pigment stay on better. Actually, it's probably because these palettes are really pigmented anyways. But other eyeshadows, if you find the pigment isn't sitting well enough, I'll spray it with whatever setting spray I have, if you have setting spray. Wetting the brush can do it too, but it kind of makes your palette look icky.
So do you put the powder on the brush first and then spray it?
Spray the brush, then dip it in the powder.
Just one little spray?
It depends how big the brush is.
Okay.
But like, you don't want a soaked, like, dripping brush, because that'll destroy your palette.
It's funny to me because I'm asking you as if I'm ever going to do it. Which we both know I'm not going to.
Oh, we both
but
fully
other
know
people
it's for
might.
the benefit of people that are watching.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't explain this, but with that one, I didn't go as low. I tried to keep it pretty much right in the lash line.
Okay. So I see what you mean with the darker, bringing that darker. It does make a difference.
It just blends better. And I mean, in theory, it really wouldn't have mattered anyways, because at some point I'm putting eyeliner on, which is just going to divide them in two anyways. But if you weren't doing eyeliner, or depending how big, I do eyeliner if I wing it. If I don't, I mean, I always wing it, but some people probably don't. Having it more cohesive just looks better.
Okay.
And then
Still not done?
I need this. This is like the last step, other than you said you wanted me to do my eyelashes and stuff separately. This is the last step for eyeshadow. This is my biggest palette, I think, that I own now. As you can see, this one's been used a lot.
Yeah, and there's some really funky colors there.
Like I said, I've used all of these. I take this one and just really exaggerate. I don't know if you noticed when I did the inner corner earlier, I stayed on top of the eyelid, but with this one, I go right there.
Ah!
What?
That would make me blink.
Oh. Well. And then I just kind of blend it up.
Okay.
And into the other one. And sometimes pressing it with your finger kind of dulls it a little bit if it went on a little bit too much. I mean, most people probably do that with their eye closed. I am just, that was too much, used to it at this point.
Beautiful. Now, come up close. I'm afraid to move the tripod in case it falls over.
So like there's a table in the way, so I don't know how close I can get.
Beautiful. No, yeah, I was going to say close your eyes. Beautiful. All right. Her palette is broken.
No, that was the mirror.
The mirror is broken.
It's fine. That's my extra mirror. I left my good one in Toronto.
Thank you, Katrina. Thank you, everyone. We're going to have pizza now before we come back with more eye makeup. Say goodbye.
Bye.